Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem HaKodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, or the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as we're the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Khalil, and this video is about Bible prophecy, alright, and the end of days, which we are in those end of days. And how do we know that we're in the end of days? By measuring the time diligently and observing what's going on in the world and relating it to Bible prophecy regarding those same end of days and the signs that will be seen and the prophecies that we'll be experiencing. And it is more than clear. We are in fact in those last days spoken about in the book of Timothy. In the last days, perilous time shall come. And we are already in the midst of Jacob's trouble, which is a time like never before upon us as a nation, us the Israelites. Right now, we're in captivity under the Edomites, who are these so-called white people, and they are the wicked. This is their vile, wicked kingdom, and their kingdom is coming to an end. So we're going to be seeing these final end time prophecies before the return of our Lord Yahushai, and all of the signs are there. All right. Yahushai said to us, when the disciples asked him, what signs shall we be seeing before your return? And Yahushua said that there shall be rumors of wars, nation rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And we're seeing all of these different things, okay, at varying different degrees. And then Yahushua said these are the beginning of sorrows. So when it is that these things are occurring, that it is only the beginning of sorrows. So Jacob's trouble is going to be ramping up to a very extreme level, and it is not until the return of Yahushua that Jacob's trouble will end. All right, because it is during Jacob's trouble that the elect of the nation of Israel will be delivered, and salvation is only for our people. But of our people, there's only an elect to be saved, which is that elect of the nation of Israel. So with the times going at hand and what's going on around the world, we're continuously seeing events happening around the world that relate to Bible prophecy, as we are very clearly in that time. So here it is, this video, Lockdown, Sedition 6. What have they done? Prepare for virus that takes out kids.
The veterans are coming for what is being called the Seditious Six. These are the lawmakers that have asked the members of the military to question their command chain, to not follow illegal orders, even though no illegal orders have been given. Let's listen closely as we see veterans speaking out against these lawmakers and the division that this might bring to our country.
As a twice-deployed combat vet and a Purple Heart recipient that's sworn the oath to defend the Constitution, I've actually seen firsthand how the chain of command keeps us alive downrange. It's unbreakable. Until now. President Trump is posting on Truth Social about sedition, and he's dead right. Why? Because we have 3 sitting Democrats in Congress, Alyssa Slotkin, CIA, Mark Kelly, Navy, and Maggie Goodlander, Navy. They put together a video straight out to our 1.3 million active duty troops, and they're telling them, ignore Trump's unlawful orders, defy your commander-in-chief, betray your oath. These people aren't rookies. They're using their veteran status to sow doubt, chaos, and political violence. You break that chain and
100%. This is true. All right. The wicked elite of Esau, Edom, who are the elite bankers, right? They are the ruling class of the Edomites, while the Edomites are currently in rulership. And they have an agenda, which is their New World Order agenda. And their main goal and focus of that agenda is to launch the microchip, which is the mark of the beast, worldwide, mandatory. All right. And then they have other things with that agenda, but that is their main goal. And what they do is they say it, order out of chaos. So they create an order out of chaos. So they intentionally do these things. They intentionally bring hell and death and chaos to the world. And then what they do after is that they establish a new order, right? They establish new laws and regulations and stuff like that. And this is a playbook that they've been going by for decades upon decades upon decades. All right. So they're intentionally riling up the people in America because they want there to be, strife and contention between the American people and the people around the world as well. All right. So they're intentionally doing stuff like this. So what is sedition? Sedition is conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. And then let's not forget, how it is that Esau operates, right? In Revelation chapter 13, and verse 11, it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, which is America, and he had two horns like a lamb," which is talking about the Republicans and the Democrats, like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, right? Because he's like a lamb because he appears to be peaceful and, helpful and whatever else, but he's actually a sheep in wolf's clothing, with draconian speech and draconian measures. Those are very extreme measures that are made. All right. And so the same kind of way of operating with having, the Republicans and the Democrats, of having two different sides against one another, and then having the people take onto that, they're against one another, or you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. This same kind of method was used back in Rome, and America is the rebirth of the Roman Empire, right? So it's just taking onto its normal tradition, so to speak. All right, because they had, I believe, the plebes and the patricians, which is all about bringing a divide between the people, okay, and then having, that kind of control. But they control the narrative at the top, so they intentionally do this. All right, so they want the people in America to act up, all right, because they want things to be in a chaotic state so that they can bring about order. So sedition, and then the scriptures talk about this. All right, sedition, 2 Esdras 15, and let's go to verse 14. "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." So the people are going to be fighting against one another. All right, there's going to be all kinds of different reasons as to why the people will be fighting one another. There's going to be just based off of their differences and what's going on in America. Okay. "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power." So you already have what is showing here, that you have the leaders of part of one of the controlled political parties that are, rousing up those that follow them and inciting certain types of speech, which, then it is, apparently the situation is that they're then, like against Trump and wanting to ignore whatever kind of rule he makes. So this all goes into Bible prophecy. "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power." So the people are going to be uprising, in a seditious manner. And, it's going to eventually get to a very critical point where the people are just going to be out there very lawless, and it's going to be complete chaos and pandemonium. All right. And this is what the wicked elite of Esau, Edom wants. Okay. It also says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." So there's going to also be martial law that is coming, and problem reaction solution. I think that's what it's called. So, they create a problem of having, putting, riling up the people with this type of spirit upon them. And then when things get to a certain point, then they're going to usher in their solution, which is going to be obviously a military state, martial law, all these kinds of things. Okay, so
that chain, and our brother and sisters die. Get this.
This guy has a lot of the right information that he's telling the people. This was done absolutely on purpose. Anytime that you see a coordinated public release, like what you saw with them saying to ignore Trump's illegal, but not really illegal orders, this is being done to sow chaos within the ranks of either the public or, in this case, the military.
Absolutely. And this is all chaos and confusion that Esau is sowing among the people. And it's all intentional, man. All right. In Revelation chapter 9 and verse 8, it says, no, Salakia 6 and verse 8, it says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And hell is a condition of being in an unfavorable situation. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, talking about America, to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. All right, so he brings chaos and hell, man, and death. All right, and this is what he's doing now, because, you know, we're in the midst of Esau's NWO. All right, and he's moving full speed with it. And the scriptures say that he's coming with great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So he's going to be moving swiftly. All right, things are going to be escalating very rapidly. And then here, regarding the people in America, all right, in the book of Isaiah chapter 19, right, it talks about Egypt. Now here, we know that it's not talking about Egypt over there in Egypt, in the continent Africa. We know that it's talking about America, all right? And America, as it says in the book of Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8, and I get it, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city talking about Mystery Babylon the Great, right, which is America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So it is called spiritually Sodom and Egypt, okay? So it is likened unto those places. All right, America is likened unto many places: Sodom, Egypt, Rome, right? And then it is labeled Babylon the Great, right? The place of great confusion. So it says here in Isaiah 19 and verse 2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, right? And they shall fight, everyone against their brother, against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So the people are going to be fighting one another up in America, man. Okay? The Lord is going to put the Spirit upon them, you know, to be in this kind of chaotic state. And the scriptures, you know, outline it. Okay? So all of this that is happening is intentional.
Democrats even claim that his orders are illegal. Bull. Everyone flows through the Secretary of Defense, and they're backed by the courts. This administration's got a spotless record in SCOTUS. Why? Because they play by the rules, unlike them. So fellow veteran service members, your oath is not optional. It's to the Constitution, not these politicians playing rebel. This is not free speech. It's actually dangerous incitement, maybe on the lines of sedition. President Trump wants accountability through the DOJ, Congress, whatever it takes. As your brother in arms, I say, stand firm, honor the chain, protect what we have bled for. God bless our troops, and God bless President Trump for calling this out. That's
interesting take on what we see happen.
I hope they...
All right, so I'm going to jump around. So that's the situation going on. And, you know, I actually saw something about it, you know, and I've had it up, wondering when will this perhaps be relevant to bring out. But yeah, this is it. Seditious claims 4 days ago, 1 day ago. All right. So something is brewing there. But many things are brewing regarding Bible prophecy. This is just on one end. Okay.
In households right now,
there's something else.
Are facing utility debt. Release. Now, I don't want to play the music because the music might be copywritten there because the government has no qualms about using it. But what they're saying with this Project Genesis is that the U.S. government, this is as important to America as the atomic bomb to winning World War II.
So Project Genesis, a new revolution begins.
So what are they really cooking up with artificial intelligence that's just as important to America as winning World War II?
And it's about artificial intelligence. Now, all of us in this truth, we know exactly what that is about. When Trump first came into office this year, well, he came into office the second time. So the second time he came into office this year, they had the whole inauguration, but then after that, his first official meeting, if I remember it correctly, he had those other tech giants, as they call them, and he spoke about his first announcement was a $500 billion artificial intelligence infrastructure that they'll be implementing in America. Here it is, Stargate. Trump unveiled a $500 billion plan for an artificial intelligence revolution, talking about how AI developed to cancer cures, backed by big tech, new tech jobs, new AI cores, etc. All right, so this Genesis project is apparently about adopting artificial intelligence faster than how the internet was adopted. And we all know how quickly the internet was adopted. If you grew up as a child, which I did during that era, I remember it went from the dial-up and how very quickly it moved towards what was it, DSL, right? From the dial-up where it was the phone, and then the DSL where it wasn't on the phone anymore, to then just how quickly it all, developed with the speeds and accessing the internet and, playing video games and all these kinds of different things. I remember that boom. So they're saying that this artificial intelligence adoption is going to be even speedier. So that's going to be lightning fast, right? But once again, as I quoted it before, but I'm going to bring it out. Revelation 12 verse 12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So the devil, being Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he's coming with great wrath, because he knows his time is short.
For 12,000 years, this volcano...
Okay, so let's see, there's one more.
The most relaxing game of 2025.
Children only.
All right, so there's this.
So we know that they have accident. Longer that progressed in.
So yeah, UK concludes biggest pandemic simulation with virus targeting children. All right, so regarding the viruses and the pestilence, that is a part of these judgments to come at the end. All right, and I'll read it. So however which way that it comes about, it is all ordained by way of Yahweh Shemishai. But the Lord will also use his sword, who is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, to be the one to launch these types of things. All right, and we're not ignorant to Satan's devices, so we do know that they have been given the wisdom to be able to create certain technologies to be able to do certain things. All right, but in 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and verse 5, it says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And pestilence is a plague. Okay? And, I mentioned before that, the scripture says that America is spiritually Egypt. And out of ancient Egypt, before we were delivered, all kinds of things were happening. The Lord was bringing all kinds of judgment to the ancient Egyptians, who, by the way, are the so-called Africans, who are the Hamites, all right? And there was pestilence going on and everything before we were delivered out of ancient Egypt. And the same thing is going to happen again. There's going to be all kinds of deadly pestilences and events going on. And out of that situation, which is going to be Jacob's trouble, will, the elect be saved. And those of us of the hopeful elect, we hope to be saved. All right, so that is on the table as well. So any kind of they do these things as well, because like this trial run, because I think there was some kind of information that came out regarding before there were some trial runs being done before the 2020 situation. And what Esau does is that he does reveal what he's going to do before he does it. That's a part of their witchcraft on the left-hand side. All right, so anyway, the times that we're in, man, Bible prophecy. All right, and much more to occur. 2026 is going to be a big year. And even the rest of this year, many things can happen. So, remain in the spirit. With that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai by Shemaka Kodesh. Shalom.